So Cam, you actually called this one. We know that Dillon Gabriel will be the starter, but instead of Shedeur being QB2,
say he won't listen to me.
He will remain as QB3 after Joe Flacco. So reporters asked Shedeur basically his thoughts on that, and instead he mimed his answers, didn't give a response. He didn't use words. So Mike, are you shocked by the team's decision to keep him at QB3? And then are you shocked by Shedeur's response by not responding?
I am shocked at the team's decision to keep him number 3. Because what are you saying? So in the next 3 games, if Dillon Gabriel doesn't do well, you're going back to the 100-year-old Joe Flacco who didn't do well the first time. You see what I mean? So now, how much sense does that make? And it does lend to, wait a minute, you mean to tell me that there's got to be something going on here? You are saying he's not good enough to play right now. I'm talking about Joe Flacco, and you're putting him on the bench because of all the turnovers and everything. And then you go to the rookie. As I said, right now, what Cleveland should be doing is finding out who they got at quarterback, because they got all of those draft picks for next year that they got to figure out what to do with. Do we need to go back in this draft and find some more quarterbacks? And you can't find that answer out by leaving the kid on the bench. You just can't find it out. You should open this thing up. I would let Dillon Gabriel start this game. I'll tell Shedeur he's starting next game. I don't have anything else to do with Joe Flacco because we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I really believe that.
Wait, let me get back, and I want us to have a discussion about that second one after we do this, because that second discussion is a discussion about how he answered it and all the bull that you hear about those answers. You know what I mean? When you talk about Shedeur, which is insane. That's why I didn't say anything about it, because that's a full discussion by itself. Because it seems like, okay, and I read some of the comments. It blew my mind, man. The kid is having fun, he's laughing, He wasn't being nasty, he was not being, disrespectful. He's understanding. The less he says, probably the best. Now, so he had fun with it. If he had told that person, get out of here, I don't talk to you, they would have been on him for that. In those comments, people saying, now see, this is what everybody's talking about. Why don't you just be mature and say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to support the teammates? Why can't, when he said, whatever he says, you find something wrong with it? How many third-string quarterbacks on any other team do they even put a microphone in front of? And the only reason they're putting that microphone in front of him is because they know he can help them get some clicks and some interest. And we'll be talking about it on all of these shows. It blows my mind, the response and the comments that we get when it comes to this kid.
Yeah, I want to speak to Jimmy and D. Haslam, the owners of the Cleveland Browns. Y'all got to cut it out. Whatever's going on there is becoming too obvious that you're trying to break the kid here, because realistically, he should be in the game already. I know you're trying to try out another quarterback. You're trying to make sure that whatever you do, you get your point across them. It's becoming more and more ridiculous on you guys' part. You're not winning, so it's not like you're not having them on the floor, on the field, because you guys are winning and you're trying to preserve something. At this point, it seems like you're just trying to go as far as you can to get a negative response out of him, and we don't like it. Not just because we're Brown. We don't like it because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to athletes. It doesn't make sense to entertainers. It doesn't make sense to the whole football community. I know whatever you guys talked about, it's just the gig is up, man. At this point, you're going to ruin your whole franchise doing this, because people are going to remember how you did this. Whatever you're trying to communicate to Deion, go have a meeting with Deion, meet Deion on the field, on a golf course, and talk about it. But it's time for the kid to play. I hope whoever's playing next don't play well. It's time for Shedeur to be on the floor.
I said this was going to happen yesterday. I actually called this, to be totally honest with you, Mike. I said that it's not a line to where, okay, the number 2 quarterback is going to be number one, and then the number one quarterback goes to the end of the line. I knew Joe Flacco was going to be number two. I just already predicted it. I didn't know if I was going to be right or not. We didn't know this until late in the afternoon. But the thing about it is this, and I'll say this because, you know, Shedeur is like my little brother, my nephew. I love him. But the way they handled this whole situation, the Cleveland Brown organization I'm talking about, from the very beginning, I knew that they was going to put him on the back burner from the very beginning of the season. And it's going to have all of us in an uproar because we love the kid. We know he could play, not just as a friend or somebody we consider family. We know he could play. Now, looking at it from a football standpoint, my personal opinion is this. They should have started the season with Dillon Gabriel and kept Joe Flacco as the backup. I think Joe Flacco is a decent backup. He's proven to be a decent backup the last 3 years. Even when Deshaun Watson got hurt, he was on the couch and he came in and he got some wins for the Cleveland Browns, and that's the reason that he's in the NFL last year. We know he played backup quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts last year, and Cleveland brought him back this year. But I already knew from the beginning of the season, they know Shedeur, could sell tickets, jerseys, everything else, but I don't think they're respecting him as a quarterback. And Mase may be right. It may be something personal with Deion, or it may be something personal with his last name. But we've seen this from the day of the draft. So for us to still keep getting in an uproar about everything, I'm talking about us as a family, we're always going to get mad. And like you said, Mike, I use this example on this show at different times, and it may not be the best example to use, but I'm just using an example. Somebody goes to trial and they're convicted of whatever crime. If they're crying, they like, look at this crybaby. If they got a serious face, they say, oh, he don't give a fuck. Why is he serious about it? And it's the same situation with the Shedeur Sanders comments. If he says one thing, he's wrong. If he says this thing, he's wrong. If he smiles, he thinks it's a joke. If he's serious, oh, why is he acting like that? It's always going to be a problem until he gets on that field and perform. And I'm waiting for that day to come. I'm hoping sooner than later. But to me, what's going on is that the Cleveland Browns, my personal opinion, I don't know this for a fact, they're not playing well. We got to think about this. First of all, this is their 41st quarterback since 1999. This is the 12th under Stefanski. They got a terrible offensive line, lack of talent, plus injuries. Joe Flacco got sacked 9 times in 3 games. So they're saying, oh, we got to make a change. And I'm not blaming Flacco on all this. It's the fucking team. Let's think about this. To me, I like Jerry Jeudy, but is he really at one court, or is he really a number one wide receiver? Is he Michael Irvin? Is he Jamar Chase? He all right. He all right. You need somebody else over there so that he can be, he all right. You know what I'm saying? So to be honest with you, I'm not saying that I don't want Shedeur to play, but with the rest of the shit going on here, it's crazy. This is the 12th starting quarterback under Stefanski and the 41st quarterback in the franchise in the last 25 years. It's not stable there. And I would hate for Shedeur to get in the game, not look good, and then they'd be like, see, this, that, and the third. I'd rather, because as much as we talked about it last time, Mike, we're appreciating that it's kind of going under the radar for Cam Ward because of the team. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Right. At least it's not being advertised like how bad the Tennessee Titans are playing. Okay, cool, let's get this shit out the way and get this nigga some more weapons and some more tools to hopefully get better. And it's not blasted out there. Anything Shedeur does, they're gonna put under a microscope, good, bad, or indifferent.
Nah, this is crazy. Wait, Mike, I want to say something because this same Dillon Gabriel, this is the same guy a year ago, Cam, we're talking about 6 years in college, right? This is the same quarterback. So this is not a quarterback that's better than Shedeur. In fact, the guy is even 5'11", like Russell Wilson, stat. He can't see over the line. So there's a lot of things right here that I'm not just saying this because of personal feelings. This is a guy that played at I think UCF, he played at Oklahoma, and he played at Oregon. So he had to jump around to get a place that he could really have it be his team. So this is not the pedigree of quarterback is not the same when it comes to these two quarterbacks. So that's why I know it got to be personal in some kind of shape, form, or fashion, because the talent doesn't even weigh.
He played good in the preseason. He played. Dillon Gabriel played real good in the preseason, and his last year at Oregon, he played really well as well.
Very well.
He played very well.
And I think
That's 6 years.
Yeah, and I think a lot of things what they're looking at too is he does have an ability. Get Dillon Gabriel, I'm talking about, to run. He can run. He can run. And as Cam just talked about with this Forest offensive line, you got somebody that can move. Where Shedeur is going to try to play quarterback and sit in the pocket and find plays down the field. Another thing Cam said, you were talking about Jerry Jeudy. I think Jerry Jeudy is a good receiver, a great up the field receiver. Get up the field, take the deep balls, but never ever do you have your number one receiver as the get up the field receiver. If he's fast enough to get up the field, that's great. If he's a Jamar Chase to get up, then run the deep balls. But you got to be able to run all the intermediate stuff, the slants, the crossing routes, all of those things, because the percentage of the deep ball is so low in the NFL. So you have to have the slants, the crossers, all of that stuff that Jamar Chase does, that very few people can do and still get up the field. But the thing I also have a problem with what's going on in Cleveland is I'm a pure football player. And I've always seen this game as, well, a meritocracy. You get what you earn. You know what I mean? Nobody gives you anything. And I want to see them give him a chance to earn it. That's all he's asking for, is a chance to earn it. He's not asking you to give him anything but that opportunity that he's earned. If you drafted him, you drafted him for a reason. So that's why I get upset about in all of this. And we got to make such a big deal out of it. That is like, I have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think my personal opinion, and this is just from the Cleveland Browns perspective, I think that they seen, this isn't Shedeur or Flacco or Dillon Gabriel. Of course, I want Shedeur to play. That's my nigga. I'm just saying, I think what they seen, what the Giants did last week, inserting Jackson Dart, pause, and that energy that the rest of the team got, and they're hoping that works for them this week, saying we're going to get, and now it could have been Shedeur as well, but I'm just saying I think that's why they're making the change right now. Of course, Cleveland hasn't looked good the last few weeks, but I'm just saying in general, they seen that burst of energy that the Giants got. Not only got a victory, they seen how the team rallied around Jackson Dart, and it was exciting to have him on the team, on the field. And Cleveland's going to try that same thing this week, in my personal opinion.